What if the move that decides Boston's season is already hiding in plain sight, and nobody outside the front office truly sees it yet? As the trade deadline gets closer, the Celtics are no longer just monitoring the market. They are shaping it quietly, deliberately, and with a level of confidence that suggests something bigger is coming. This is not about panic. This is about timing. And timing has always been where championships are decided. Around the league, the message is starting to leak. Boston is hunting for a center who changes playoff possessions, not highlights. Someone who bends game plans, someone who forces opponents to adjust spacing, matchups, and late-game decisions. The curiosity is not who the Celtics are calling, but why the noise is getting louder now. That usually means Brad Stevens already knows what he wants and is simply waiting for the right crack to open. An expiring contract sitting on the books gives Boston leverage that few teams can match. It is flexibility disguised as patience. Executives see it as a movable puzzle piece that can slide into multiple scenarios without damaging the core. That is where the intrigue really starts, because once that lever is pulled, the Celtics do not need to win a trade on paper. They just need to win the postseason math. One name keeps circling quietly, a center who does not dominate headlines but dominates areas that matter in May and June, screen setting that frees stars, rebounding that erases second chances, interior presence that changes how teams attack the rim. The numbers tell a clean story of efficiency, durability, and defensive reliability. But the real value is subtler. This is a player who thrives in structure, who does not need touches to impact winning, who fits seamlessly into a system built around stars. Here is the uncomfortable debate nobody wants to have. What if Boston does not need a superstar big? What if the missing piece is simply someone who makes every other Celtic slightly better under playoff pressure? That kind of move rarely excites casual fans, but it terrifies opponents. It also aligns perfectly with how the front office has built contenders in the past. Boston entered the season with a roster designed to win now, yet the front office still invested a second-round pick in a center viewed as long-term insurance. No hype, no expectations. Just patience. That choice is starting to look less like a stash and more like a calculated bet paying early dividends. Amari Williams was never meant to matter this soon, which is exactly why his emergence feels so dangerous for the rest of the league. The shift began with chaos. A last-minute injury, a rushed flight, no preparation, thrown into a double overtime game on the road. Williams played only a handful of minutes, yet somehow managed to leave a fingerprint on the result. One defensive stand, one perfectly timed block. In games like that, moments matter more than minutes. Coaches noticed that. What followed was even more revealing. A first career start that looked quiet on the stat sheet, then a breakout performance that rewrote the internal conversation. Against Portland, Williams did not chase shots or force offense. He did something far more valuable. He stabilized the floor. His screens created space that does not show up in box scores. His positioning erased driving lanes before they opened. His presence allowed Boston to play with rhythm. Here is the part few are discussing. Williams is not just producing, he is producing within the Celtics ecosystem. The system is identical from Maine to Boston. The reads are the same. The expectations are the same. That continuity is not an accident. It is a developmental pipeline designed to eliminate adjustment time. When Williams stepped on the floor, he did not look lost. He looked prepared. Joe Mazzulla does not hand out minutes as encouragement. He hands them out as trust. 26 minutes tells a louder story than any quote. It suggests the coaching staff already believes Williams can survive real NBA possessions without breaking structure. For a rookie on a two-way deal, that is rare air. What if the Celtics just witnessed a turning point that will not show up in headlines today, but could quietly reshape how this roster survives the grind of the season? Monday night against Portland did not feel like a routine January win. It felt like a test. And a rookie most people still consider an afterthought, past it in a way that demands attention. Amari Williams did not simply play more minutes. He looked like someone who finally understood the speed, the angles, and the responsibility that comes with wearing green. This was not about raw stats. This was about control, about comfort, about a player no longer reacting to the NBA, but anticipating it. The contrast from his first career start was striking. Against Chicago, the game moved too fast, the reads came late, and the impact was muted. Against Portland, everything slowed down. Williams did not chase plays. He arrived early. His screens created space before defenders could recover. His positioning forced ball handlers into tougher decisions. These are the details that do not excite casual fans, but they change how a coaching staff views trust. Joe Mazzulla's comments revealed more than praise. They revealed an intent. This was about matchup, yes, but it was also about adaptability. Williams showed he could read a constantly shifting system in real time. That matters, because Boston does not run static basketball. It demands processing speed, communication, and discipline. For a rookie center to handle that is rare. Here is the bigger conversation nobody is having yet. What if Williams is not just depth insurance, but a developmental answer that reduces pressure elsewhere? A cost-controlled big who understands spacing, screens, and defensive principles changes roster math. It gives flexibility. It buys patience at the deadline. It opens strategic doors without forcing a reactionary move. Williams is still raw. He will struggle. Matchups will expose him. That is inevitable. But the trajectory is now visible. The game is slowing down. The confidence is growing. And the trust is forming. What if one of the most influential rookies in the entire NBA was quietly erased from the spotlight simply because his impact refuses to fit inside a box score? The Rising Stars roster came out, names were celebrated, debates exploded, and yet one absence tells a far more interesting story than the selections themselves. Hugo Gonzalez was not just left out. He was overlooked in a way that exposes how surface-level recognition in this league still is. Boston has a rookie producing numbers that history rarely allows. Not highlight numbers, not social media numbers. Numbers that only show up when winning basketball is being played the right way. Gonzalez owns the best plus-minus among all rookies in the NBA by an absurd margin. Not barely first. Not statistically tied. He is more than double ahead of second place. That alone should have forced a deeper conversation. It goes further. When measured by plus-minus per game, Gonzalez is already brushing against a level reached by only two rookies in NBA history, Tim Duncan, Chet Holmgren. The explanation is obvious and lazy. His counting stats do not scream. 4 points per game, a few rebounds. Nothing flashy. But this raises a far more uncomfortable question. Since when has the Rising Stars game been about raw totals alone? Every year, the event scrambles to fill rosters because truly impactful rookies are rare. The bar has never been pure volume. It has always been influence. Gonzalez influences winning. Every lineup he touches stabilizes. Possessions tighten. Defensive reads sharpen. The Celtics do not survive his minutes. They thrive in them. That is not accidental. It is awareness. It is timing. It is understanding where to be before chaos arrives. Those traits do not sell jerseys, but they build contenders. Draft position quietly played its role. Taken 28th overall, Gonzalez never entered the league with marketing momentum. No hype cycle, no expectations. And yet, his on-court effect has shattered internal metrics. Rest is not a punishment. It is preparation. While others chase exposure, Gonzalez gets time. Time to sharpen his role. Time to absorb film. Time to strengthen habits that already separate him from his draft class. When games tighten later in the season, Boston will not care who played in a showcase. They will care who delivers positive minutes when stars rest.